This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
That's a real big problem. You don't usually have serial killers that are probably in their 20s. Unusual.
The Seminole Heights killer, police say they have got their man. How was he caught, and why did it take so long? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the Seminole Heights serial killer in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. Governor Rick Scott has banned state employees from using the term climate change. President Trump has pulled the U.S. out of the international accords on climate change. Today, the Sarasota City Commission heard a presentation on the impact that blank blank will have on the city. It is the result of an in-depth study which shows 80 different ways climate change will have on Sarasota. Today, commissioners gave their input.
And so this whole plan is about us being a resilient city that's able to bounce back and be able to adapt to these changing circumstances we're seeing over time. So we're trying to be proactive and not as reactive and plan for some of what some of these scientific projections are saying are going to happen to us here locally.
A final draft on the study will be ready by mid-January. The city is also discussing how much to charge for all-day parking at city-owned garages. The city owns garages on Palm Avenue and State Street. Right now, you can't legally park longer than 3 hours. The proposed price for all-day parking is $23 a day.
Right now, you have to go get a parking pass, and you have to pay $20 every 3 months just to park up there so that you don't get a ticket. And I've already gotten 3 tickets because I don't really want to spend $20 every couple months to be able to park to go to work every day.
We'll have more on the decisions made by the commission coming up at 11 o'clock. Tonight we are learning about the cost of dealing with mold at Lakewood Ranch High School. A new 93-page report details what it will take to deal with it. The district needs to clean more than 20 portables on campus. Work will begin next week with a budget of $350,000.
He assured everyone that this is not any type of life-threatening situation that is very common within the state of Florida.
The district hopes work can be completed on the portables by the end of winter break. The Sarasota Police Department is asking for the public's help identifying 2 individuals in the area of a Friday night shooting. Officers would like to speak with the people shown in this photo. Shots were fired on Friday around 2:30 a.m. near the Hollywood 20 parking garage in Sarasota. Police believe the 2 left separately in vehicles shown on your screen. The vehicle tags are not readable by cameras in the area. Anyone with any information is asked to call the Sarasota Police Department or Crime Stoppers at 941-366-TIPS. Former Florida Congresswoman Corrine Brown is going to federal prison for 5 years. Brown was convicted of stealing money from a fake charity which claimed to give scholarships to poor children, but instead was used for her own personal expenses. Brown, who spent nearly 25 years in Congress, was one of the first 3 African Americans elected to the House. The 71-year-old testified she was unaware of where the money for the charity was really going. Do you remember when the sign language interpreter in Manatee County signed gibberish during Hurricane Irma? It has happened again during one of the news conferences on the arrest of the suspect in the serial killer in Tampa. Tampa Police Chief Brian Duggan announced the arrest of 24-year-old Howell Donaldson, but a sign language professor at USF says the interpreter got a whole lot wrong, and you can see it right there on your screen. Tampa police say they are conducting a review. With legislation in Tallahassee once again filed to make texting while driving in a primary traffic offense, a Florida man is traveling the state warning high school students just what can happen. Demetrius Branca's 19-year-old son was killed 3 years ago when the motorcycle he was driving was run over by a van whose driver was not paying attention to the road. Branca regularly travels across Florida warning the state's youngest drivers about the dangers of using cell phones while behind the wheel.
Their whole lives are ahead of them, and they were born essentially with cell phones as a part of everyday life. And so it's not abnormal for them to pick up their phone. And I'm just here to try to remind them that you can't do it while you're driving because it's just too dangerous.
Florida is one of only 5 states where texting and driving is not a primary violation. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Beautiful day today. For the most part, we had some clouds and some low fog around. I know that was around periodically throughout the day, but the sun still able to peer through and warm things up. Highs today were well above average. Beautiful sunset tonight, looking out over Sarasota Bay with the Van Wezel webcam. And now currently it's clear and 72 on the temperature, and the dew point way up there, 65 degrees. The humidity at 78%. We have a wind out of the east-northeast at 7, and the pressure continues to slowly rise at 30-15. The planner this evening, not a problem if you're heading outdoors this evening. Temperatures will be dropping down to the mid-60s by 11 o'clock tonight under generally fair skies, and current temperatures up and down the coast now into the low 70s in places like Bradenton, Cortez, Sarasota, 74 in Venice, 72 in Northport, Lakewood Rancher at 71 degrees, and 70 now in Punta Gorda, 72 in Sebring. And as far as rainfall goes, there's not a lot of rain out there. There's a few showers coming in around an area of high pressure. Now, this high pressure ridge is keeping things pretty warm here across most of the state right now. This warm weather will continue, but it is going to slip out and move to the southeast by Thursday as a cold front moves on down, but nothing going on now. That front is going to be gathering over the southeast United States over the upcoming days. Wind flow, sustained winds generally out of the east, northeast, anywhere from 10 miles to 15 miles an hour for the most part, a little less as you push closer to the coast. And dew point temperatures very warm for this time of year. Typical low temperature for this time is in the mid-50s, and with the dew point temperature in the mid-60s, we're not going to go any lower than that, so we're going to be about 8 to 10 degrees above average for overnight lows. But get ready for some cold air. Finally, it's here. It's going to be here by the end of this week, and stay with us for a little while.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, nice to wear your jackets and sweaters.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, residents of Tampa can sleep a little bit easier. Police say they have got the man responsible for the Seminole Heights murders. Stay with us.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
The perfect musical for the holidays is live on the Players Center stage. Packed with the big band sounds from World War II, the 1940s Radio Hour is our boogie-woogie bugle boy answer to the holiday blues. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. The Players Wild Broadway series wishes you a Merry Christmas with the 1940s Radio Hour.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
After 51 days, Tampa police finally nabbed the man they believe is responsible for terrorizing the Seminole Heights community. ABC7's Adam Cellini joins us here to sum up a wild week in Tampa where the families of 4 murder victims are trying to move forward. Adam.
Yeah, Alan, Tampa police say they received over 4,000 tips and knocked on around 1,900 doors before making this major break in their case less than 4 miles from the neighborhood.
In Seminole Heights, at the corner of East Osborne and North Nebraska Avenues, a mural offers therapy for a damaged community. The names and painted faces belong to those targeted by a serial killer: 22-year-old Benjamin Mitchell, 32-year-old Monica Hoffa, and 20-year-old Anthony Niboa, all gunned down less than 2 weeks apart. A 4th victim, 60-year-old Ronald Felton, was added on Sunday.
I saw this on television. I always wanted to come by and take a look at it to see what it was like.
The mural has stopped many like Ronnie Larry, some writing messages of hope over the pictures to the victims and to each other.
This community is angry. We have a neighborhood that's being held hostage. We have 4 families whose lives have been torn apart.
We spoke with Tampa Mayor Bob Buckhorn just days before police arrested a suspect.
I don't think it reflects on our city. I just think, you know, folks around the country are looking at Tampa and saying, gosh, I hope you catch this guy.
The break in a 51-day search for a killer came from Ybor City. A McDonald's employee approached an officer with a food bag concealing a .40 caliber Glock loaded with SIG brand Smith & Wesson ammunition, the same bullets from the murders. The witness said the bag belonged to former worker Howell Donaldson III, who police arrested with clothes in his car similar to those seen in the security video captured the night of one of those killings.
Arrest my son, devastation, because I love my son, and it was disbelief that this was happening to our family.
I was really just kind of numb. You know, we've had tips before. You know, this morning I think is when it hit me, like we actually got this guy. I assure you, this is the man who did this.
As law enforcement loosens the lockdown of a 3-square-mile radius in Seminole Heights, 22-year private investigator Bill Warner reflects on the rarity of serial killings here in Florida.
In olden days, Ted Bundy came down, and a few other Gainesville serial killers. It's happened over the years. You know, again, long period of time. This current rash of murders, wow.
Now, Sarasota has had a brush with another serial killer, Danny Rolling, who stayed in the area for a time, visiting places like the Cabana Inn on US 41 before murdering 5 college students in Gainesville. Warner himself has followed 2 other unsolved murders along these train tracks in North Sarasota from the 1990s. But Seminole Heights, he says, has its own chilling qualities.
That's a real big problem. You don't usually have serial killers that are probably, 20s.
The question that still lingers is why? Why would a 24-year-old attack and kill 4 random souls in this small Tampa neighborhood?
We were really hoping to find out what was driving him to do this. We don't have those answers yet.
Without them, the families of the victims trying to forgive.
My heart go out to the murderer family. I feel sorry for them, very sorry for them.
But never forget.
And Howell Donaldson III will appear in court tomorrow morning for a pretrial detention hearing in which the state will ask he be kept behind bars as he waits for a trial. Alan?
Adam, thank you. Coming up, an extraordinary panel talking about an extraordinary case at the Trapezoid.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Welcome back. It was a local story that made headlines around the nation. A serial killer on the loose just up the road in Tampa. In all, 4 people were gunned down in the Seminole Heights neighborhood of Tampa. The alleged killer, 24-year-old Howell Donaldson, was caught when he asked his boss at an Ybor City McDonald's to hold a bag containing his gun while he went out to cash a paycheck. The killer struck terror and fear among residents. The Suncoast has had brushes with other serial killers, and that is our subject tonight. And joining us for more is private investigator Bill Warner, clinical psychologist Eddie Rainier, and joining us by Skype is Professor William Kemper, a criminology professor at USF Sarasota Manatee, who spent 25 years as a Detroit police detective and lectures on the subject of serial killers. And Professor, let me start with you. It seemed vexing to local police up there for so many weeks. You know, as things go, it seemed like that this young man, if he is in fact guilty, went about this. He was very, very smart, wasn't he?
Yes, and unfortunately, he does fit the bill of a serial killer. What we call a serial killer is somebody who's murdered at least 3 occasions with a so-called emotional cooling off period between each incident. And as I heard, I think right, it was 51 days, so it is a cooling off period. So he does fall into what we call a class of a serial killer. We do have mass and spree killers, but the serial killer had 3 occasions with a so-called emotional cooling off period.
Bill, what made this so difficult for police to catch him?
Most likely because he was on foot all the time. There was no car on any of the surveillance photos or video for the police to work with. They had no car to pin to Howell Donaldson. He, got into the area, and he had a really noticeable red Mustang with big black racing stripes on it. Obviously, he hid the car somewhere in the neighborhood while he went out on foot to stalk and kill 4 innocent people with no connection to him whatsoever.
So, Doctor, this is the million-dollar question. For somebody who was so smart and so calculating to go about this to avoid capture for 51 days, it seems rather stupid that you hand over the gun in a bag to your boss.
Well, I don't think it was stupid at all. I think it was calculated. I think he got tired of killing. He wanted to be caught. And so he told someone to hold this bag. I have something in it I don't want you to see. That's like putting a neon sign on a bag that says, look inside. He wanted to be caught. He wanted to stop this behavior.
Is there precedence for a serial killer giving themselves up like that?
Well, I'm not a serial killer expert, so I don't know, but I'm a psychologist, and I know that no behavior is accidental. It's all purposeful. The reason he gave his bag before he cashed his check was to be caught.
Professor, I'll ask you the same question. Since you lecture on this, does this happen sometime in this particular way?
It is kind of unusual. Most serial killers, they'll go months, years between killings in their cooling off period. And most of them want to get caught, and they, like in the case of the BTK killer, Dennis Rader, he taunted the police by giving newspaper articles to a newscaster that put him out. So in a way, they want to get caught because he taunted the police department. But in Rader's case, he was just an everyday citizen. He was the president of his church, a good citizen. He was a ordnance officer, animal control, which gave him easy access to people. But again, he wanted to get caught by taunting the police and talking to the newspaper.
But we only have a couple of seconds left here. But here you have a kid who was a great college basketball player at St. John's in New York, got his degree, came from a great family, and had so much going for him.
Absolutely. It makes no sense whatsoever. He had no prior arrest. He didn't have a childhood where he tortured the neighborhood animals. You know, he wasn't the serial killer in the making. All of a sudden, beginning of October, he starts shooting people at random. It makes no sense.
All right, we are just getting warmed up, and we know where we're going to pick it up. We'll be back on more. We'll have more on serial killers right after we check the First Alert weather, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 digital media services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 digital media services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Our conversation on the Seminole Heights killer continues right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. Manway's a webcam showing nice conditions out there for boaters. You can see flat, calm seas running less than 2 feet. Should stay that way for tomorrow, but things will start to change Thursday. Beautiful colors there just around 6:13, shortly after sunset, and now completely dark out there and clear skies. Currently, this is one of the photos that were sent in over the weekend from Dylan John Wade Cox. This is of the supermoon when clear skies overnight, allowing a lot of people to snap those photos and send them in to our pics at mysuncoast.com. And this was a recent sunset. In fact, this was just happened not too long ago, a couple hours ago, and that's another one on the water. Beautiful conditions right now. Temperatures currently low 70s. 73 in Venice, 72 now in Sarasota. The Gulf water temperature now is 73 degrees. Temperatures all in the low 70s with the exception of Northport now in the upper 60s, 69 degrees there. We should see temperatures staying above average for overnight lows, typically down into the mid 50s that we would normally expect, but we'll see low temperatures to start today off tomorrow in the low to mid 60s. Right now in Venice, it's 73 degrees under clear skies, and 70 at the airport now. The dew point is at 63, humidity at 78%. We have an east wind at 7, and the pressure at 30.15. Well, the high today was well above average, 81 degrees, similar to what we saw yesterday. And the average high is 75 degrees. The record high gets up to 86. Back in 1994, that set the record. This morning's low was at 63 degrees, and it's been dry so far in December. It was a very dry November, and that trend's continuing up until Friday. Friday is our best chance to get some moderate rainfall around town. We will see, it looks like everyone getting at least a chance of some rain here as that front slowly sinks southward throughout the day on Friday. The forecast tomorrow, though, no cold front around. Highs will still be well above average in the low 80s under mostly sunny skies. And looks as though one more day of warm temperatures on Wednesday, and then they start to get down to average on Thursday, well below average on Friday. And what it is this cold front. You'll see it as we move through time here. This is Tuesday at 5 a.m. and the front still moving through Georgia. Notice it kind of weakens. It thins out and becomes almost stationary there on Wednesday. What's going to happen is a little area disturbance, if you will, a low pressure area, will move along this front and then move this front through us and eventually bring us some much colder air. Whenever you get snow and freezing rain this far south into Texas this time of year, you can bet that we are going to see some of that colder air, and that will happen again on Friday and continuing through early next week when temperatures will be well below average. With that cold air already starting to spill in over Minnesota into the Dakotas, even some snow falling there. Some of that snow starting to get a little bit more intense. This is going to be a fairly significant storm system as it makes its way through Wisconsin, Michigan, and to the northeast United States. And then behind it, notice these clouds moving almost due south now. That's that big drop of cold air. It's been kind of bottled up here all fall, but now it's finally going to make a slip down to the south. Temperature 24 in Billings, Montana, Minot, North Dakota 17. Much warmer into Dallas now, 76 degrees, and warm all the way up into places like Chicago and Cleveland and St. Louis, all into the 60s there for the most part, upper 50s to low 60s. For boaters, looks great again tomorrow, just a light chop on the bays and inland waters. Seas running less than 2 feet. Water temperature still pretty warm, 73 degrees for this time of year. Tides up coming on your screen, and sunrise will be at 7:06 tomorrow. The forecast tonight, mostly fair, mild, 65 for your low. Tomorrow, look for partly cloudy skies to mostly sunny conditions, warmer than average, high near 80. And the extended forecast, well, there it is, warm on Wednesday. Back to basics on Thursday with increasing clouds in advance of that storm system, and then a 60% chance for some showers. Moves on in Friday, and the cool weather sticks around through the weekend. Al will be back with his guests right after this.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKX Sport Utility for $349 per month, or Lincoln's flagship, the 2017 Continental, for $449 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork for free, and best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Don't let chronic lower back pain slow you down. Get moving and stay active with a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost. We also accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and other insurance. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare? Find out for free.
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-715-0835. That's 1-800-715-0835, 1-800-715-0835.
Choral Artists of Sarasota presents Too Hot to Handle. Add an electric spark to your holiday season with the return of this joyful gospel reinvention of Handel's Messiah. Shout hallelujah and get ready for a roof-raising performance featuring an ensemble of 100 singers, plus exceptional musicians and outstanding soloists, including Amy Jo Connors and members of the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. Sunday, December 10th, 7:30 p.m. at the Van Wezel. Tickets and info are at choralartistsarasota.org.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration. Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Welcome back. Tonight we are talking about the arrest of the alleged Seminole Heights killer in Tampa and how law enforcement goes about tracking down and catching them. Joining us for more is private investigator Bill Warner, clinical psychologist Eddie Rainier, and by Skype, Professor William Kemper, a criminology professor at USF Sarasota Manatee who spent 25 years as a Detroit police detective, and lectures on the subject of serial killers. And Professor, you watched the investigation over that course of 51 days, and you saw the frustration in terms of the police and the mayor up there. When that was happening, what questions were you asking yourself?
Well, let me, and the good doctor can help us out on this. Let me give you a couple case files. You got Dennis Rader, you got John Wayne Casey, were model citizens. In Casey's case, he was a clown. Went to parties. He had his picture taken with First Lady, President, Vice President, First Lady, and he was very active in community affairs. Dennis Rader, was active in his community, president of his church. Both these people had good backgrounds. But there are what we call, and this would be up to the doctor to explain, the American Psychiatric Association outlines 7 areas of antisocial personality disorder, which some serial murders have. Maybe the good doctor explain a little bit about disorder. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, so I'm not accusing, but maybe the doctor can explain about this disorder.
Number one, doctor, it's unusual that you have a serial killer, and again, we have to remind everybody he has not been convicted of anything yet, but 23, 24 years old. Some of the people that we have talked about in our history, John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy, they were considerably older than that.
That's right. Well, serial killers mostly have something in common, that they have a lack of empathy and inability to attach, to have meaning about life. And frequently they begin their careers very, very young in life, hurting animals and torturing animals. And often the fundamental thing among them is that they have a mental disorder. And that mental disorder goes unnoticed. Another thing that they seem to have is that they have a history of abuse. Sometimes serious abuse from a family. Sometimes they've been humiliated emotionally. They've been hurt physically. So trauma, abuse, mental disorder, and this inability to form attachments.
Well, it's early on. We don't know if any of this took place yet. All we know about this young man is that he was obviously a talented athlete who just graduated within the last year or so, came back home, and his friends, Bill, say something seemed to change within him in the last 9-10 months.
Yeah, I heard that from his colleagues, different reports that he became more aggressive. They were playing basketball, he became more responsive to a hit or a punch. He wasn't the same person he was, say, 3 years ago. What I see here, though, with Howell Donaldson is he appears to follow the Zodiac killer's playbook. He targeted random people. He didn't rob them. There was no sexual connotation. The victims were young and old, white and black, all different ages, and yet he just came up behind them in most cases, shot them, and ran away. This is kind of like what you'd call a thrill killer, a guy who doesn't really have a purpose or a victim ideology. He's just anybody in his path.
Professor, let me ask you that. How unusual is that? I mean, we've all seen the movies, about different serial killers. Lord knows, just last night my wife and I were watching Hangman, who was a movie with Al Pacino about a fictitious serial killer, and it seems to be that there is a method to their madness. On the other hand, are some cases like this different?
Yeah, let's look at the Washington, D.C. case on the sniper that was just sniping people at gas stations and that. That was a fairly young man. and they were shooting out of the back of the trunk of a car just at random. I can't recall they killed 4 or 5 people, but here again, there's a young person. I think that man was in his 20s that was just randomly picking off people in D.C., as you recall that.
You know, Doctor, people we try to understand these things, and we try to look for answers, and we try to ask ourselves, is this a fault of our mental health system? Is it a fault of our criminal justice system? I think that we probably really don't realize in some cases the war that's going on within people's heads at some point. Is there anything to be learned here in terms of how, as parents, friends, co-workers, that we need to look for things that, you know, a lot of us don't even bother looking for?
Well, I think what you said a great deal. First of all, we have a mental health system in Florida that's dismantled. Secondarily, we know that people with mental disorder, if they don't get early intervention, often manifest their worst form of their mental disorder in their young adulthood years. It is the end of the teens and the early adulthood here that a breakdown occurs. In this particular case, it sounds like this person may have been struggling with mental disorder, and then some event happened. I don't think that it's so random. I think he picked a community that he was angry at, and he wanted to hurt that community. He wanted to get back at it. All the crimes was in a very small circle. It is possible that as his mental disorder became more manifest, that he had troubles fitting in, and he got angry at the community.
You know, we should point out, as you just did, that Florida ranks dead last in the United States in terms of spending on mental health issues. Bill and Professor Kemper, I want to ask you this. You know, obviously, there's a lot of evidence that have come up in this case after the fact.
Right.
But can you both describe the difficulty of police in terms of putting these cases together as quickly as we would like to see them do when a community is in crisis like we just saw in Tampa?
Well, during the crime spree, it was almost impossible to catch him. He was like a ghost, and he targeted the same area, sometimes within the same 2 blocks, and he kept going back. It was like he was toying with the police, like, you know, catch me if you can, but I'm coming back and I'm gonna kill somebody else. Very off the wall.
Professor Kemper, let me ask you the same question. Is this often the case that when you have serial killers out there, that it is in real time, when the pressure is on, it's very difficult for even the best investigators to come up with these answers?
Yes, and that's what we call a comfort zone. They start out where they feel comfortable within the jurisdiction of where they live, and then they branch out to different jurisdictions. So that's what we call a transparency. In other words, the police are looking right through him. If they were to interview him, basketball player, graduate, the same as Gacy and Radar, you're looking right through him. So you could have interviewed this young man and never thought the worst of him because of his background. But he fell in that comfort zone, is what we call, and he's what we call a transparency. In other words, you're looking right through him.
Professor, I want to ask you one more question. We're coming up on a break, less than a minute left. How often do people do these kinds of murders and then move on out of the area, and local police are left without answers and they wind up relocating to someplace else?
Well, being a police officer, I certainly won't put the blame on other police departments. But a lot of times we have a lack of communications. They could do a serial murder in one town, move to another town and do a serial murder. And a lot of times police don't communicate on these as being the same. That's where the FBI profiling comes in to help. Is communication is the key to within police departments. And again, I'm not bad-mouthing because I was one, but a lot of times when they'll move out of the comfort zone, they feel free and they go to some other place and commit another murder.
All right, we have
hard to time get it sometimes.
All right, we have to take a quick break and we'll come back for final thoughts in a moment.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button. Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help. Call today and receive a risk-free 30-day trial. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-8638. That's 1-800-916-8638.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us young. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. And Professor, I'm going to start with you because you're a former police officer yourself. I want you to talk about how Tampa police and state and federal authorities handled this case. Do you think that they did the best job they possibly could?
Yes, I do, because here's a young man, and I'll sum it up. He was in his comfort zone. Police done their job, knocking on doors, going through there. He was in his comfort zone, which means he was comfortable. He worked at the McDonald's. And as a transparency, they're looking right through this young man because of his background. Police can do their job. They were doing their job. And yeah, I feel they've done an excellent job in catching him and the manpower they put in it. But again, if self-confidence and obsession with his own power grows, if they didn't catch him, he could have enclosed that radius and made arrest more difficult.
Doctor, let me ask you this. Many of us will remember during the middle of this, Tampa's mayor had a press conference and he told police, I want you to bring back his head on a platter to me. Was that helpful?
No, I don't think so. Now, I don't want to blame the mayor because he didn't do anything. However, you don't want to egg on a crazy person who's operating under their own logic. You want to remain quiet and let the police do their work. And he had excellent policemen doing their work. He could have remained quiet.
And Bill, after the fact, you know, look, the manager at the McDonald's got the bag in the with the gun inside. The munition was linked up very quickly. But after the fact, what are other things kind of added up?
Oh, the big thing was his cell phone. Once they had his cell phone, they got his cell phone records on the site charges, and they knew he was up on this 1300 block of East Firestone Ave, right in the middle of where all the murders took place. He was there on October 9th, on the 11th, and on the 19th. He kept going back to the same street, it looks like, to park his car, and then go out and commit the murders.
Absolutely incredible. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. A fascinating conversation. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about Friday night's show on The Week in Washington. President Trump retweeted videos some view as racist, causing backlash from the UK. One of the videos allegedly shows a Muslim migrant beating up a Dutch boy who is on crutches. The second video allegedly shows a Muslim destroying a statue of the Virgin Mary. We went to Facebook to hear what some of you had to say. And Kevin says, the king of calling others fake news retweets videos that are probably fake, and then his spokeswoman says it's okay because they point out a real problem, even if they are fake. And Mark says, what is racist about the retweet when has a religion become a race? Every time the news media think that they have him, he comes out ahead. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Amazon Fire and Roku. And for the latest on local and breaking news, don't forget to download our new updated version of the app. It is, if your current app doesn't work, that's because it is expired. So just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Private investigator Bill Warner, clinical psychologist Eddie Renier, and by Skype, Professor William Kemper, a criminology professor at USF Sarasota and Manatee and a former Detroit police officer. Coming back, we'll have a final check on your First Alert forecast and plus primetime headlines. Stay with us.
Do you have type 2 diabetes, which requires daily blood monitoring? If you have diabetes, are you on Medicare, Obamacare, or other health insurance? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for diabetic testing supplies at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. Our accredited staff will handle all of your paperwork for free. And best of all, your diabetic testing supplies are shipped directly to your home for free. Call now to see if you qualify for a meter upgrade and a free pedometer to monitor your daily walking. Use alternate testing sites, a smaller blood sample, and even hear your results out loud. Will you qualify for diabetic testing supplies and an upgraded meter covered by Medicare, Obamacare, or health insurance at little to no out-of-pocket cost to you?
Find out for free by calling the Diabetes Resource Center at 1-800-394-1098. That's 1-800-394-1098, 1-800-394-1098.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, thank you. I tell you, we are watching some changes coming our way. Right now, it's warm. It's been warm over the weekend. Beautiful out there. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures warming today into the low 80s, above average. Now, a high pressure continues to dominate our weather, but the warm weather is to stay for at least the next couple of days. And then this front that you see gathering some strength now over Missouri, Arkansas, stretching down into Texas will bring some changes our way. And you'll see that in the temperature trends here coming up in just a minute. A few showers possible on the East Coast. That's been about it. So we're going to go from warm to cold pretty quickly. In fact, Friday highs expected in the mid-60s, low 60s on Saturday and Sunday. Now, these are high temperatures, and we are expecting lows on Monday morning into the upper 40s across the area. So it will be a big chill considering what we've been in lately. Now, temperatures are running into the upper 60s to low 70s, 72 in Bradenton. The same in Sarasota and Venice, Northport, a little bit cooler, but still pleasant evening now. Gulf water temperature at 73. And as far as the current conditions go, at Sarasota, Bradenton Airport, it's 72 degrees right now. And as far as the barometer goes, it's way up there, 13, and it's been high, and we'll continue to stay high too throughout the day on Tuesday. We have an east to northeast wind at 7 miles an hour, and 73 now in Venice. The high temperature today, well, there it is, 81 degrees. That's well above the average. Typically this time of year, 75 is our normal high, and 86 the record high set back in 1994. This morning's low was 63 degrees, and no rainfall to report today. The forecast, though, is calling for some rain to move in, especially on Friday. Pretty good chance of that happening. At least some showers right now, some moderate rainfall at times on Friday. Well, the highs tomorrow will once again warm into the low 80s, above average, and we'll have a lot of sunshine around, just a few clouds now and again. We had a little weak disturbance move across our area today. brought with us some clouds at times and some sunshine intermixed. That heads off to the east, and we'll see that high pressure ridge, which has been dominating our weather, slide off to the east. Now here comes the front making its way through the southeast United States, and then what will happen is an area of low pressure will develop along that front and then really kick in some cooler air and some clouds and showers beginning on late Thursday, Friday, clearing out of here Saturday morning and then turning breezy and cooler Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Well, that storm system is really going to cause more problems to the north of us right now, already doing so. Some snow falling into Iowa and into Minnesota now, and this will spill off to the east into Wisconsin and Michigan throughout the day tomorrow. 38 in Boston. Currently, it's 30 in Portland. Temperature is much warmer. Chicago 63, 64 in St. Louis, and Billings at 24. This is that cold air that is making its way south to southeastward over the upcoming 48 hours. East winds turn to the south tomorrow. We'll start off at 10 knots, subside to 5 late in the day. Seas running 1 to 2 feet. The water temperature there it is 73 degrees, and tides upcoming on your screen. High tide 11:52. Tonight mostly fair, 65 for a low. Tomorrow for another gorgeous day. Sunshine, a high temperature right around 80 degrees. They extend the forecast. Nice day on Wednesday, and then we'll see increasing clouds in advance of the front on Thursday. Temperatures staying below average all the way through Monday of next week. Alan's back with primetime headlines right after this.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetzy. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump was busy on Twitter this weekend, but did he or his lawyer add fuel to questions about claims of possible obstruction of justice? And even if he did, can a president be guilty of it? Today, his lawyer claims he can't. ABC's Serena Marshall reports from Washington.
It's a possible new legal defense for the president. The president's lawyer, John Dowd, telling ABC News the president cannot be guilty of obstruction of justice in his role because he is the chief law enforcement officer of the United States and can give his opinion on any legal case. The claim follows this statement, which Dowd says he wrote from the president's Twitter account. I had to fire General Flynn because he lied to the vice president and the FBI. That led to speculation the president was admitting he knew Flynn lied to the FBI before he allegedly tried to get then FBI Director James Comey to go easy on Flynn.
Understood him to be saying that what he wanted me to do was drop any investigation connected to Flynn's account of his conversations with the Russians.
Multiple legal experts disagree with the president's lawyer, saying a president can obstruct justice.
There is no question that a president of the United States can break the law. Legal scholars believe that a sitting president can't be prosecuted for a crime while he's president, that the remedy would be political, impeachment, or waiting until after his term is over.
But it's not the first time a president claimed some laws don't apply to the chief executive.
When the president does it, that means that it is not illegal.
Both Presidents Nixon and Bill Clinton faced obstruction of justice charges during their impeachment hearings. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Get this. You know what former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort appears to have been busy with while out on bail? Manafort was allegedly ghostwriting an op-ed last month with a Russian who has ties to Russian intelligence. Mueller's investigation says Manafort was working on an editorial in English as late as Thursday, and it is related to his political work in the Ukraine, which factored into his money laundering and foreign lobbying criminal charges. Prosecutors are asking the court now to revisit a bail agreement Mueller's office and Manafort's lawyers made jointly last week. The court has yet to approve a change to his $10 million unsecured bail and house arrest. President Trump is all in on Roy Moore. The president called the Alabama Senate candidate who is accused of molesting teenagers and, according to the White House, told him to go get him, Roy. Allegations of sexual assault and misconduct against Moore were made public last month, which he denies. Alabama's special election for the Senate seat takes place next Tuesday. The U.S. Supreme Court is allowing the newest version of President Trump's travel ban to take effect, pending appeal. This is the first time justices have allowed any edition of the ban to go forward in its entirety. The third edition of the travel ban placed restrictions on foreign nationals from 8 countries: Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Syria, Venezuela, Somalia, and Yemen. Lower courts in 2 separate challenges partially blocked the ban. The first supermoon of the year was lighting up the skies last night, and there were some beautiful photos taken of it. NASA posted this photo on its website of the International Space Station in silhouette as it passed in front of the moon. Then there are these photos taken from Washington, D.C. The first one showing a plane flying in front of the moon. The second one shows the moon appearing to be in red. Supermoons happen when the sun, moon, and Earth align and are full, or new moons align with the sun's lunar orbit. 2 more supermoons will be visible next month. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.